You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
New Zealand into the home straight now. Gold medal. New Zealand. The Kiwis have won gold. They're powering through. New Zealand. Gold.
Weekend Sports Road to Paris 2024.
Yeah, the Paris Olympic Games are drawing ever closer, and as we travel the road to Paris, we're looking back on some of the great Olympic moments from Games past. New Zealand's best ever Olympic shooting result came in 2016 at Rio when Natalie Rooney won silver in the trap. Having competed internationally since 2006, she was fifth at the 2010 Delhi Commonwealth Games and fourth at the 2014 Glasgow Commonwealth Games. At the Rio Olympics, she successfully negotiated a shoot-off to reach the final, where she won silver, beaten narrowly by Australian Catherine Skinner. The following year, Natalie Rooney claimed the #1 world ranking in trap shooting. She also competed at the Tokyo Olympic Games, where she placed 11th. Natalie Rooney is with us. Natalie, thanks for taking the time to wander down memory lane a bit, back to 2016. What stands out most vividly when you remember back to Rio 2016?
Obviously winning silver, which was pretty amazing. Just the experience. I'd been to a couple of Commonwealth Games, but the Olympics are just like this next level, and just being in that New Zealand team, it's such a special thing to be part of, and just being in awe of all the athletes that you're surrounded by, really.
Tell us about the shoot-off to reach the gold medal match. How did the whole, in fact, take us back, how did the whole competition play out up to the shoot-off, and then we can talk about the final?
Yep, it was so long ago now, but so back when I was back in 2016, I've changed our program quite a few times since then. But back then, we only shot one day for ladies, and we were shooting 3 rounds of 25 out of 75 targets. And for me, I just remember waking up that day and knowing I'm ready to go, which is quite a good day, really, when you wake up and you're like, yep, I'm ready to go. And yeah, everything went pretty smoothly until my last round of competition, and there was a bit of like a windstorm that kind of came through when I was shooting, which I ended up missing a few targets, putting a bit more pressure on me, because leading into that round I was probably placed about second or third, I think. And then the wind came through. I missed a few targets, which put quite a lot of pressure on me. But managed to skim through to the final. Luckily, I think I made it through in like fourth place or something like that. And then the final, which is top 6 of the competition, make it through to the final. And I just remember I was so ready for that final. I had spent 2 months prior over in Italy training with my coach, and that training all just really came into practice, and I was so ready for it. And I shot 13 out of 15, I think, in that single barrel when you come to the final, and had to shoot off against Corey Godrill from the USA to make it into that final gold medal match. So I just remember shooting extremely well.
Yeah, well, I mean, silver medal, best ever result by a New Zealand shooter. I think you actually even led in the final, didn't you? It was eventually a thriller, 12-11. How close did you feel to winning that gold?
It was very, very close. It was, I think in that last gold medal match, I actually dropped two lots of 2 in a row, I remember, which just really came down to the nerves. That was all, really. I was shooting so well, but shooting is such a huge mental game, and it kind of failed me a little bit in the end, but I can't really complain walking away with a silver medal.
Absolutely. When you talk about it being a mental game, just unpack that for us. How do you feel when you're shooting really, really well? Is it just a serenity that comes over you?
Yeah, you're kind of in this it's like a real flow state where everything is, working really well. Because once you've got the skill down and you train and train and train, it's all about repetitions and making sure everything is working perfectly. And when that actually happens, it's an amazing feeling. And it's not as if you're even trying. And yeah, so for that to actually happen, it's very rare. So yeah, it's an awesome feeling to happen, but it doesn't happen very often.
How did you get into the sport?
Family. I've got 3 brothers and a dad that all have shot. Not all shooting at the moment, but we grew up shooting, really. My older brother, Sam, he got us all into it. He was born with spina bifida, but absolutely loves sport, and that was kind of the sport that he started at school. And then from there, we all kind of followed along.
And there are several different disciplines in the sport of shooting, aren't there? How did you settle on trap shooting?
That was really what we did. We mainly did trap shooting. We started with what we called down the line, which is like an easier version. And it wasn't until I was 18, I think, that I got selected for a team from the school shooting to do a Youth Olympic Games over in Sydney. And from there, that was my first taste of what we call IWCFL, or the Olympic trap. So from there, that's what I started doing, the Olympic trap. And yeah, I just got that taste and wanted more and wanted that challenge.
Of course, 4 years before Rio, the New Zealand Shooting Federation nominated you as their sole competitor for London 2012. But then prone rifle shooter Ryan Taylor appealed to the Sports Tribunal, had the decision overturned in his favour. How difficult a time was that for you, being selected and then being unselected?
Yeah, that was very tough. It wasn't an easy time, but it kind of worked in hindsight, it's worked in my favour. Like, if I'd gone to those games, I don't know if I would have been in the position that I was for Rio. It's a tricky one, because that non-selection in the end drove me harder. Like, it made me reassess what I was doing and want to be like I set that goal that I had to be at that next Olympics and what was going to get me there. And that got me to change what I was doing, head over to Italy, get my coach, and really nail it down. And it definitely worked. So, if I'd gone to London, I don't know if much would have changed. So I'm quite, in the end, thankful for that, really.
Tell us a bit about your training regime. You talked before about the couple of months heading into Rio. What does a training regime day to day look like in the lead up to a big event like an Olympic Games?
Yes, so prior to COVID, should I say?
Yep.
Or prior to the Rio Games, I would be over in Italy quite a lot. Obviously, with my coach, he was based there, so I would travel over to Italy for any competition. Really, I'd spend probably 1 to 2 months over there prior training leading up to it, which would consist of me shooting, I think, 3 to 4 days on, 1 day off. And then that would be out at the shooting range at 8:30 in the morning, shooting all the way up to lunchtime, having maybe an hour and a half for lunch, and then you carry on shooting to about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, as well as doing gym work and that around that as well.
How mentally draining is all of that training?
It's very mentally draining. That's why only we kind of played around, and I think for me the best was shooting 3 to 4 days and then 1 day off. I needed that day off just to re-energise, to then I could come back the next day and be ready to train again, or if we had a competition, go and do that. I personally couldn't shoot 7 days a week. There are some people that can do it, but it's just the mental drain of it. Especially when you're in these hot countries as well, you're just out there all day, every day, and it's not like a hugely physical sport, but it's just that mental capacity to be able to be there, present for that whole time.
And how does that drainage manifest itself? Like, do you get headaches? Do your eyes get sore? What happens when you overshoot? If you did shoot 7 days in a row, end on end.
Yeah, so I wear contact lenses for shooting just because my eyes aren't 100% anymore. So yeah, they would get extremely dry, sore, being in the sunlight streaming in onto your eyes as well, and just you're looking. It's a weird thing. You're looking so hard all the time that you're overusing your eyes, if that makes sense. And yeah, it's just like a continual drain. And yeah, I would get quite bad headaches at night time as well if I was doing too much, as well as just you'd get very sore shoulders and necks just from the continual shooting and the compounding of the gun going off all the time.
When the target comes out, has there been studies done? Do you know how long you have, how long your reaction time is before you see it and you pull the trigger? It must be a fraction of a second, is it?
So when we call for a target, it's instant. So when you pull, that target will come out straight away. There's no delay. And from there, I think it is I think it's if you're really onto it, it's 0.5 of a second or something like that when you fire your first barrel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I've often wondered as well about international travel. If you're a runner, you just chuck your shoes in your bag, don't you, and your running gear. What are the extra layers of complication when you're travelling with firearms?
Yeah, it's not easy. That's the other thing. You can't just plan to pack up and go somewhere next week. It's months in advance of getting permits, both for the countries that you're going to as well as the airlines. There's a lot of restrictions around the airlines that you can travel with now. You can't travel with two different airlines. You have to have one airline going the whole way because they don't transfer guns between airlines. And then, the countries that you go to, you have to get permits for every country that you're going into because being from New Zealand, we have a firearms license, but our license doesn't have a gun on our license. Like in Europe, all their licenses is their gun is licensed to them.
Right.
Whereas we don't have our gun licensed to us. We can just, now it's the firearms registry, you have it licensed to you, but you can have as many guns as you want. Whereas over in Europe, they have a firearms license that's got their gun on it.
Right.
Their serial number. So for us, I've had issues places like going into Cyprus or the European Union where they go, how do I know that this gun is yours?
Huh.
So, and then it also has restrictions in that every country is different with their rules and regulations. Some places you can pick your gun up at the airport and just carry on and do whatever you want with it. Other countries, you can't have your gun on you in that country. It has to be taken straight away to the gun club or the armory or wherever it's being kept, and you can only have it when you're shooting.
Wow.
So it's very different for every country that you go to.
Wow, just an extra layer of complication even before you start thinking about competing. Yeah. Are you still involved, Natalie? Do you still shoot?
Yes, I am a little bit. I'm very much involved with the Timaru Gun Club, Timaru Clay Target Club, should I say, and at home. But I've just had a son. He's turning 9 months old tomorrow, so I've tried to be as present as I can for him. And he's kind of at that tricky age where I can't really do too much without him. So going shooting hasn't really been easy. But yeah, I don't think it's a sport that I'm never going to be able to step away from completely, to be honest. It's going to always be there.
Absolutely. And I've asked all of the guests we've had on this segment the same question. Where do you keep your silver medal? Where is it?
I'm not 100% sure. I have a feeling it might be in my gun safe, but something along those lines.
All right. Well, I'm sure it's somewhere. Yeah. Hey, Natalie, it's been great to get the chance to chat to you. Incredibly, we've lasted 15 minutes without being interrupted by your son, which is amazing.
Yeah, he's asleep.
Good.
Today.
Oh, good. We've scheduled it brilliantly. Hey, congratulations on that wonderful moment back in 2016 in Rio. It's been awesome to get the chance to chat and to reminisce a little bit with you. Thank you for taking the time.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Natalie Rooney there, silver medalist in the trap shooting in 2016, the latest guest on our road to Paris, which actually is coming to an end. We're going to be in Paris before you know it in terms of the Olympic Games. They start on the 26th of July. It's the 1st of July tomorrow. Yeah, we're nearly there, less than 4 weeks away from the start of it. News Talk ZB is an official radio partner of the Olympic Games and our sister station, Gold Sport, gearing up to bring you through the night commentary right across the Olympic Games. We'll keep an eye and an ear on all of the New Zealand athletes heading to Paris and bring you basically wall-to-wall commentary of the Paris Olympic Games on Gold Sport. Presume we'll start at about 8 o'clock each night, New Zealand time, go through the night into the breakfast hours when some of the finals are and the swimming and the athletics and things like that. So, yeah, really looking forward to bringing the Olympic Games, the Paris Olympic Games to you on Gold Sport and also here on News Talk ZB.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.